Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Casting the Spotlight episode number 146. And we are now a little ways in. We are now getting deeper and deeper into horror season. It's back. Horror is back in full fucking throttle. It's prime time. It is time.
September is here.
It is prime. Or it is time, and it is the prime time.
Yeah, September and October, man, just...
They grab you. And not just that, but a little thing called fucking National Football League is back. It is coming back this week. We got some big fucking foosball shit to talk. A lot of opinions coming your way. I'm a Packers fan. I'm a Bucks fan. You're a Browns and Cowboys fan.
Yeah.
Those are top two.
Oh,
How close are the Browns to the Cowboys in your fandom, though?
Really
close?
They're neck and neck, for sure. I mean, the Browns are easily my AFC team.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are easily my NFC team. But, like, I feel like they've been two of my favorites for about the equal amount of time. Mm. Like, I started really getting into both those teams when I was, like, 10. When I started, like, getting merchandise from both of them.
Maybe you follow what's been going on with the Cowboys just a slight bit more.
Well, there was just a handful of seasons where the Browns just were not exciting.
Yeah.
Where they were just slump
I can't imagine why with that no logo football helmet.
Hey, man. That shit's classy as fuck.
No, it is.
They got two mascots. They got the Bulldog and Brownie the Elf.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Brownie the Elf, sick! He's going to be on the 50-yard line this year.
Well, he's going to be fucking thrown into the 20.
And I got a shirt with Brownie the Elf on it.
Do you?
You ever seen that shirt? I think
I probably have seen it before. But man, there is so many big things going on in this time of year. The weather's starting to change now too, and like we are now like getting into the large runaway of it. You know what I mean? Like we're about to like enter that point. We've got to the race. We've kind of crossed the starting line. We're like, all right, let's fucking get into this shit. Yeah. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be fast, but it's going to be fucking tremendous. This football season, I have looked forward to. I mean, it's not even to take away any of how much I look forward to like the last several or even the last 10. But like, I follow the off season so closely this year. I followed so much of it. I have never let go of like last season, like in the terms of, I have wanted football to be back, like, in full swing since then. Like, yeah. I have been so pumped this year, and I'm like, just every year my, like, fandom for just grows for wanting to see it back and, like, wanting to fucking, you know, and now, you know, if I want to go to the casino, I gamble on. If I want to do this and that, if I want to play fantasy and watch, you know what I mean? There's just so many factors that, you know, the NFL is just huge, you know? And really football is in general.
That's the thing, too, about the NFL. Like, I like playing fantasy. Like I said, like whenever you draft your team and you're like sitting there scrolling, looking at your team and your players, it is exciting. You're like, oh shit, man, this is gonna be dope. But like, I love football. I don't even have to have fantasy to be like, yeah, I can get invested as hell in a game.
What about whenever your favorite teams are not playing? Like, are you still gonna flip on the game? You know, well, that's what I mean. And see, that's the thing. Is like some people are like Cardinals loyalists, and they're like, I'm not gonna watch. Which I mean, to an extent, I don't watch a ton of other MLB games, but football, for its scarcity, especially, I don't give a fuck if the Packers or Bucks or some of my other teams that I like are not playing. Like, I'm gonna fucking watch every game I can watch.
Yeah, if I'm at home and there's nothing going on and I know there's football on, I'm flipping it on.
Oh yeah,
you know,
you have to be a fool not to.
I mean, if you like football, that is really the thing about it too. Is it's like the NFL, I feel like, is that way more than almost any other league. Like, yeah, like I like baseball too. Yeah. It's fucking impossible to watch now, but like, I still like baseball. And growing up, I would flip on games of two teams that maybe I didn't really care about. Yeah. Just because it was a baseball game, you know. But like, football does have that vibe where you're like, every game matters, you know? So even if it isn't teams that you per se like, that game might affect teams that you like.
Yeah.
So it's like...
In the scarcity, the fact that there's so few on, like, makes it... The urgency is always there. You're like, I gotta watch this. Like, this... Or, like, even though you're like, this team and this team might not be, you know, mine, or whatever, you know, if the fucking... if the Chiefs and Lions or the Chiefs and the Ravens, like the opener, if they're playing, it's like, this is
That's
a
a
game
big
that
time
I
game.
gotta watch. Because it's like, it
Yeah.
is going to be big.
I almost enjoy watching those games more sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I don't want to see the Cowboys and the Browns, or like some of my other teams I really like Dolphins and Panthers and stuff like that. Like, I like to see those teams play. But it's almost a problem because you're too invested in those teams. So whenever like things aren't going, if things are going well, you're flying on cloud 9.
Mm-hmm.
But like if things aren't, you're like, this fucking sucks. I'm not even having a good time now. My team's just shit in the fucking bed. Like if it's two teams that you have, you're like, well, both these teams are damn good, but I'm not really invested in who wins this game. It's almost more fun to watch that game.
Yeah.
Because you're just there to see a damn good football game.
That's where fantasy comes in too, though. Because if you have a great player on one of those teams, you're like, I'm in it. You're like, score. You're like, I don't care who wins this game, but if my player plays well, that's what I care about.
This year, I'm heavily invested in. I have multiple players on the Browns, ironically. It just kind of ended up that way. But the Browns, the Jets, and the Texans.
I have some Jets players too.
And the Texans. Those are the three teams that I have like multiple players of them on my fantasy team.
It is gonna be a fucking bloodbath, dude. Just going into this season, like in fantasy in the NFL, like I am so excited for like the stories, and just the off season was noisy for certain people. Like the 49ers and Cowboys had kind of like it's kind of weird because the Cowboys almost had like a noisy off season. Meanwhile, didn't even make hardly any adjustments to their team. I'm sorry, it always feels like I'm like going out of my way to take, but like they did, because they're like, well, what the fuck's gonna happen with Dak's contract? Like they still ended up below.
Now that they signed CD gets such a big deal, I almost feel like, depending on how the season goes, because who knows, the season hasn't even started yet. Dak has proven he can produce winning seasons. He's won the division on multiple occasions. He's gotten to the playoffs many a times, but further than that is yet to be seen. So it's like, CD's obviously a standout all-star wide receiver, but he's only going to be that good if you have somebody at least as good as or around as good as Dak throwing to him.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if they have the money to keep Dak after this year, especially if you're trying to hold on to other players, like Trayvon Diggs and Micah Parsons and like all these other pieces.
Because they will have their most high paid. Like Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak all want to be the highest paid at their position. And you can't pay them all because that's what you're paying. That's what you're paying the whole team. And I don't care if the draft, if the cap fucking was extended by like 13 or 14 million or whatever they extend every team by, because it all has to be even, right?
Yeah, there's
a salary cap.
Yeah.
But I think every team got a little bit of leeway to give them like a chance to keep their players they have. You know what I mean? Because the NFL loves the excitement and let's not forget, it's a business too. So like, if there's a team that people are watching, like they want them to fucking keep on the road that that they're on, essentially. Because like, it's crazy because it just seems like there's so many teams able to win right now, or possibly at least maybe 8 of them that can win, but only one can take it. And like so far, like anybody not named Joe Burrow or Tom Brady cannot stop Patrick Mahomes. And Burrow, whenever he is healthy, he can do just amazing things. But he has not been healthy to the extent that he needs to be able to prove that. You know what I mean? Other than maybe a year or two. But like, we know that his ceiling, what he can do is fucking incredible. But like, being healthy is part of remaining at that stature.
Yeah, the more injuries he takes too, the more prone he is for that kind of stuff.
Dude, so I hope to God, like, especially 2 things. I hope that Aaron and I hope they stay healthy. I just want to see good football. Like, I really do.
Know. I really do hope those 2 guys like can stick it out this season too, because it makes it more exciting. They're elite players, and they are kind of at that stage where it's like they're taking some injuries now, especially Aaron. Aaron's older, and Burrow just keeps getting hurt.
Aaron can't take another major injury
Yeah.
without retiring.
And Burrow, he can't stay this elite status if he's getting injured every year. So,
No.
those guys have to stay healthy this year.
Yeah. You really, Burrow, they need a healthy, it's not even that they need to start all 17 games. If both of them stay healthy and they get their teams to, double-digit wins, fucking sit them the last week or two. You know what I mean? But those guys need to be locked and loaded and ready to go for playoffs. And whether people like it or not, whatever you think or not, the Bengals I was about to say the Packers, the Bengals and the Jets, man, they have a legitimate chance to make it pretty damn far this year.
Yeah.
The AFC is just so stacked, though, that it is tough. It is tough to make it.
I mean, the Bengals lost a couple key players, too. Yeah. They didn't get as decimated as
the Bills lost some
the
players.
Bills. Yeah, that's who I was thinking. Both those teams are elite AFC teams that took some loss in the offseason. Yeah. For sure.
A while, it was literally Bills, Bengals, Chiefs, and now the Chiefs have absolutely solidified themselves as the number one in that trifecta.
Well, if Burrow could stay healthy, he could be competing. But it's and now the Ravens are up there too. If they're just they struggle in the playoffs as well. But the Ravens are elite in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
As well, so
they are.
It's tough. It's a tough landscape out there.
I know.
That's for sure.
So I actually, when I was watching Colin's show the other night, and J Mac was kind of filling in for him before Colin returned, which he did today. There was a report done. And it was a simulation of the season. And this I purposely didn't want to say off air because I'm I want to say it on here. And I know Corey asked us whenever he came on to guess what our season predictions and stuff were, what our for the Super Bowl and everything else, just way in the future, even more in the future than now. We know now more than we knew even when he was on. There was a simulation, There's a simulation done 20,000 times. So no light sample size. And this doesn't necessarily mean anything, but taking all the intelligence that we have, all the players, and this is also assuming everybody, for the most part, stays healthy. There's a simulation done 20,000 times, and I believe it said the most results said that in the NFC Championship, the Lions were going to beat the Niners. And in the AFC Championship, the Chiefs would beat the Jets of all teams. This is this is the most common result out of all the simulated possibilities from a study that was done. And I was 20,000 times, but it doesn't mean anything. It also does, there's intangibles that it doesn't take into account. Guys getting suspended, guys getting hurt, guys getting traded or something else, there's a lot of different things that can happen, but simulating what we know, I'm that would honestly be interesting. No matter what, there is definitely a possibility. The Jets are a bit of a wild card, but there's a chance they could go further. But those three other teams, it's completely logical that they would make it to the divisional round or the championship game again. It is. And it's not out of the realm of possibility that the Jets do.
The Lions and the Niners were last year.
And if that happened, that simulation was correct. It'd be Lions, Chiefs. And that's what I told Corey. And he's just what's your early prediction? That's what I said, Lions. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. But that was something done. And, there's a lot of intangible things you cannot control at all that still have to play out over the course of a season. But that's what the early shit was saying.
Yeah, it's tough to say. I could see something like that. It would be wild to see the Lions make it.
It would be wild to see the Jets make it that far.
Yeah,
that would be insane.
I could see that though because they have Aaron and they do have a damn good offense.
They have one of the three best defenses in the league.
And their defense is great. So that's what I mean. They have a stacked team,
But
so it's pretty
You
believable.
know what a lot of this relies on, though? It weighs on Aaron staying healthy.
That's what I mean, yeah. Like, their offense is stacked. Like, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson.
And being at least somewhat of the guy that he was.
Yeah. Yeah, can he produce the way he produced still?
Because Aaron at his best is probably as good as any quarterback that's ever played the game.
Yeah.
But
It's just if he's lost an edge, that's really what it's going to come down to. And if he can stay healthy.
yeah. I hope. When the stars stay healthy, it's way better for the league. It's way better for business. It's way better for competitive reasons and everything.
Well, I hope so too, because I have Brees Hall,
I do too. I have Brees Hall in my league with. I guess some people passed on him and took like Tyreek and other people like that. In my the league I have with Lynn in the fucking 12-person team league, which he actually has split into divisions. I saw. So I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, I hate playing divisions, and here's the reason why. Because it's not like an NFL, like divisions in fantasy. You have to use, for anybody that's never played fantasy, you have to use the last few remaining weeks of the fantasy season as your playoffs, because otherwise there's going to be a whole shitload of players eliminated and not able to play in that situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what if you only have a team of 3 players versus somebody's 7?
Yeah.
Neither one of you have a full lineup, so like you have to play it in the regular season, which means the later weeks, which means now that they've gone to 17 weeks, you eliminate the 18th week where a lot of people sit their stars, and logically so. But this is the difference between fantasy and real life football. There are things that people like Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Burrow, other players can do that won't necessarily show up in fantasy, like numbers and like little things. You know what I'm saying? There's different decisions that they make that make them a better quarterback in real life than maybe their fantasy numbers tell. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. But the thing is, whenever it comes to fantasy, you don't know how those things. So like the gunslingers that actually are accurate, like Aaron, Josh Allen, like people like that can score a fuckload of points for you in fantasy because they throw the ball a shitload, and Allen runs the ball, too. Lamar produces, Jalen Hurts produces a lot in fantasy.
They run a lot.
Yeah, but they also throw, so like all those touchdowns add up, and like you're able to make, those are generally, but the more elite ones, like the cream's gonna rise to the top. Like the better ones are gonna, for the most part, produce more points, but it doesn't mean the best quarterback is gonna score the most points. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Brady wasn't often the highest scoring fantasy person.
Brady was,
but he was the best quarterback in the NFL.
He was notoriously a team player, though. He just he didn't necessarily play that way. He wasn't like a fantasy type quarterback. He was just like, he was a mindful, smart, like knowledgeable, logical quarterback. Like he knew the moves to make and when to make them.
And he knew what his role was, and he knew when to step into it and kind of take a step back.
I mean, there's nobody you wanted on the field when you had a minute left and you were down by 3 than Tom Brady.
No.
Pat
has proven that he can come back from those leads, but he's still, make no mistake, no matter what anybody wants to tell you. And I'm not even a hater or anything like that, but he's still got a long way to go before he can logically say he surpassed Brady.
Yeah.
Brady's number 1 by the numbers for sure.
I just watched him do it so many times.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, I was like, God damn it. But, like, you almost would predict it.
Well, you couldn't deny it either.
Like, there was even times where there was a team that I liked a lot more than whoever, like the Patriots or whoever, that Brady was on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you never felt safe. It'd be like, oh, we're up by 4, but there's fucking 33 seconds on the clock, dude. He could do something.
Yeah.
Like, they could get the ball in the 18 and he could still fucking do something. I don't know.
Nobody was comfortable until the fucking end of the game with Brady.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know. I'm excited. There's a whole lot of fucking things that could happen. And I'm eagerly anticipating it. Like schedule always has a lot to do with what could happen too. And, it's crazy because there's somebody like, since you play your division twice, what I was saying about fantasy is before we went off on the talk about the players and stuff, is just like the problem I have with divisions is it's not like the NFL equivalent to it. You don't play everybody twice. Like you might not play a lot of those guys twice, and what's the sense in playing somebody that's not in your division in fantasy more than once if they're not in your division?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What how it doesn't equate. It doesn't make sense. So I've always been for, since there's only one season, there's only so many games, you have to use the remaining 2 or 3 games at least for playoffs in your fantasy season. I like it to be everybody versus everybody. You know what I mean? And the top half or the top whatever make the playoffs. It's got to be the most elite teams though. But no doubt it's gonna be an extremely fun season.
Oh yeah,
and
I'm definitely getting the itch for it now that we're here.
I know it's gonna be awesome. Oh man, do you wanna start giving any kind of predictions for how you think this the standings are gonna go by the end of the season? Now we're really early on. We're 4 months away.
Yeah, literally at this point,
from knowing.
Injuries and suspensions, like you were saying, all that stuff could easily play a factor in this.
There are definitely things that we.
But just based on our general base knowledge of these teams and how they are entering this season, we can try to rank them.
I have the entire NFC done on my part.
I'll just kind of throw it out there. Do we want to do the NFC first?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the division. How about first that your Dallas Cowboys are in?
Well, this is going to be the most controversial division, probably. Probably the one we're going to spend the most time on, but I'm down for it.
I don't know. I could say more about some of the other ones.
Honestly, and it might just be hopeful thinking, but I got to latch on to something. They did it last year. I could see the Cowboys squeaking out first in that division again.
No, it could happen.
I mean, the Eagles are the only team they have to contend with.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Washington could win some games, but I don't think they'll...
I don't think they're making playoffs.
I don't either.
Because the Giants are coming in last.
If one of the rookie quarterbacks made the playoffs, or Caleb or Jay, don't you think Caleb would, with the Bears before the Commanders?
Yeah. I mean, over the Commanders, yeah.
Yeah. Well, with the squad, obviously, too, not just the quarterback play. But the quarterback play obviously has almost everything to do with it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I would, personally, probably a little bit of hopeful bias, but that's the only division I'll even do that in.
Yeah.
Would probably say Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, Giants.
Okay. I have the Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Washington Commanders, New York Giants.
Yeah. That's the thing, the Cowboys and the Eagles, that will be the battle.
Yeah,
I don't think it will be the Commanders or the Giants.
No.
By any means.
The Giants they won't have the worst record, but they won't be too far above it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely see them probably finishing last this year.
I do too. I think the Commanders probably take maybe a step up.
Yeah, what was it? The guy last year on their team.
I forget.
Sam something. He was
I remember who you're talking about. Too. But I do think it's...
Dude, I asked my dad that too, and he had him on his fantasy team, and he forgot his name. I'm like, that guy was just kind of forgettable.
I do think Jaden Daniels has a chance to... I think they got a new OC, they got a lot of new pieces, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So they're kind of restarting, and based on what they've hired and who they have a chance to do something better than they have. It's hard to imagine everything running on all cylinders your first year out like that. Because
there's a lot of teams that fixed a lot of stuff.
There is. Too. But the Bears, I feel like I'm more confident in the squad. I hate to even say it because I'm not a Chicago Bears fan at all. But they seem like they've built a squad that's more... you can see them having a better season than they just did, you know?
Yeah.
I think they were I don't know what the fuck their record was. Were they Did
What,
they
the
win
Bears?
7 games?
The Bears?
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
8 and 9 maybe? Or
I thought they all won less. I thought they won like 5 or 6.
I don't remember. It wasn't very good.
No, they were,
Clearly.
yeah.
And they
were
moved off
definitely under
Fields.
500.
But yeah, I would say that. And like I honestly think that Saquon, and Jalen Hurts, I think they have a new offensive coordinator too, don't they? Because Jalen Hurts has had a bunch of them in just a few years.
Yeah.
But
They might too. Yeah, they got like Saquon over there now.
they
They got some new.
if they can put the
Saquon
pieces
might not,
together,
like he's injury prone too. That's the thing.
he
with
is.
him.
But he's also elite whenever he is healthy.
Yeah.
And if he can stay
You gotta
healthy
keep him healthy.
for the
That's
most
thing.
part, like he did like last year, he can for sure be one of the top options.
It's
I
definitely.
believe in him more than I did. I will say that.
It's definitely makes you more excited about his like his value being off the Giants. Like that helps
Yeah.
his player stock for sure.
For sure. It does. So I don't know. I think the Eagles definitely have a chance to do something big there. And I don't even know that would be separated by much. You know what I mean? I don't know
New
if I
York
see the
fans
Eagles.
like fucking hate us right now.
I don't necessarily see if I don't know if I see the Eagles winning more than one game above Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
but I think they take number 1.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tight division between
will.
them two, I think.
It will.
And I got AJ Brown, so I hope the Eagles do decent, but
Yeah, the Giants are they're gonna fall on their faces, man.
dude, New York's like fuck you, saying it's good that Saquon left, saying we're finishing last. The New York fans are already tuning out.
What do you wanna? Let's just take care of the NFC South next.
Oh boy,
The shit show.
man, that's a tough division because none of the teams are good, like really, really elite.
Well, we haven't really seen. No, even the Bucks aren't like maybe elite, but they are capable. At minimum.
And I mean the Falcons, they have a turnaround this year with Kirk and
This
like
feels like the place that Baker seems most comfortable in his career.
yeah, I feel like he's settled in there. But I also feel like the Falcons are going to be more of a pain to deal with this year with Kirk and like some of the pieces they have around him with
And they
Drake
have Penix backing him up.
Yeah,
So
they got Drake London, they got Bijan Robinson, like they got some players.
Mhm.
I think I'm going Falcons, Bucks, Saints, Panthers.
I have the exact same order.
Yeah,
So I don't know. The Falcons just have too many pieces that seem like it's going to be hard for them not to prevail. I don't know if they finish too far ahead of the Bucks. I mean, well, maybe. This could be one of those things where like the Bucks squeeze out some wins and have like a 9-8 season. And like the Falcons,
I mean the
I could
Bucks made
see
the playoffs last
I
year.
could see the fucking Falcons because of their schedule. Look at the rest of the division; they're playing them all twice. I could see the Falcons winning 11 or 12 games, and it's wild because in that division, which Brady was smart for going to, it seems like you really have to do the least work in order to fucking make the playoffs, and then you just got to take it game by game after that. It's still the weakest.
Yeah, both the South divisions are pretty weak.
Yeah.
In both conferences, but yeah,
I
would have
It's hard to
taken-
disagree with that.
yeah, I would have taken the Bucks if it wasn't for them Kirk getting signed over to the Falcons in the offseason and that being kind of more of a solid quarterback for that offense because they already had the pieces and the weapons on that offense.
But the Bucks could be potentially, I'm not saying there's a great chance, but the Bucks could definitely be a potential other surprise playoff team.
oh yeah,
You know?
yeah, I could see them squeezing out into the play. Like I could see them winning that division.
Yeah.
I could see the Falcons still falling flat
But if
on
it
their
doesn't
face.
work, it doesn't always work.
It might not. It
Yeah.
really might not.
It really doesn't.
Got the West and the North.
Let's go with the West.
All right. Well, this one I think I have pretty solidly. I'd
Okay.
go 49ers, Rams, Seahawks, Cardinals.
Yeah, I have the same.
Yeah.
Some of these we're going to have the same, though, because there's a certain point where it's like, logic points to certain things playing, like, you know, and you can generally figure out, like we were talking about off air, like sometimes the first and second. The one and the same thing is like if things did deteriorate for the Niners earlier than they think, they've had a noisy offseason, a lot going on, a lot of players that, you know, Brock Purdy's eventually going to want to get paid. A lot of older guys, I'm not saying they're like gray hair old, but they're fucking like older guys on the field. Kittle, fucking Debo, they're beat up. Some of the fucking offensive linemen are beat up. Trent Williams, if they don't pay him, they're fucked. No matter how many offensive pieces they have, like he is like the number one left tackle in the NFL.
He is a great defender.
So the thing is
there's
like,
a lot. They still have that squad this year, but they are getting older. It almost feels like you could make the argument that they are past their prime.
You could. So, but the thing is, and that makes me think with this squad, with this group of guys.
Besides Purdy,
this is the Niners' last chance.
Yeah, they'll have like Purdy and Ayuk.
Yeah.
After this.
This is their last chance.
Like,
and with this group of guys, I'm not saying they can't rebuild eventually, obviously. But with this group of guys in a win-now position, this is their last chance, and they're not in a state of like, oh, this is going to be uphill now, like or downhill even. Like we've got, we have still a few years of runaway to work with. Like this is the last chance, and they're in a fragile state. Mm-hmm. That's what it feels like. It feels like you're there, but the collapse is going to be fucking grand if you do not take this year. You know what I mean? Now, did you even say your order? You want me to say?
Yeah.
I was going to say mine is the exact same order.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the Niners pull that off by a huge leap over the Rams.
Yeah, because I mean the Rams have cut back this year.
Yeah.
Like Stafford is still a baller. He still slings that ball out.
Yeah. I have a feeling Kyler Murray's going to waste his fucking talent in Arizona, man.
I know. I don't know how that's going to go this year down there. Like, because Arizona, they still didn't put a lot of pieces around them. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is there. But, like, DeAndre Hopkins has been surprisingly quiet since going to the Cardinals.
He had a few crazy games, I think, last year, but he's still really talented, but, like, same thing for him. He's gonna fucking...
Dude,
he's gonna fizzle out
his whole career has been wasted. Because even whenever he was on the Texans and he was an elite receiver, he didn't have a quarterback around him, ever. He never had a consistent QB. So it's like he's never had that quarterback-wide receiver connection, that combo. If you put Hopkins with any of the elite quarterbacks, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes, like Hurts, Prescott, like any of these guys, he would be a baller. Like he would be one of the most elite wide receivers in the league if you put him around the elite quarterback, but he's never had that. He had Watson for like a season, and then he got traded. So, I don't know though. Yeah, I'm definitely sticking pretty solidly with that. Is my standings. Niners in first, Rams second, Seahawks third, Cardinals fourth. Like you said though, I could see the Niners and the Rams being pretty neck and neck.
I could too.
So now the North.
The fucking big division, man. This honestly, I think. I mean, it was more interesting when J.J. McCarthy wasn't hurt for the season because in case he had to fill in for Darnold. But at the same time,
which he was going to.
At the same time, it is still going to be, I think, one of the best divisions. Top two, maybe not number one, but top 2 or 3 for sure. Most interesting divisions in the league this year. And years ago, the Packers used to just beat the living dog shit out of every team in that division. They'd 6-0 them.
Yeah.
And I think that this could be I think this could be a war to the end. I could see the Bears fighting for even a wild card spot until close to the end. You know?
Think so.
But I do think Minnesota is going to finish 4th.
Yeah.
I think Chicago is going to finish 3rd. I think they're going to win a wild card spot, but I think the Packers will finish 2nd. But with a chance, and a credible chance, to finish 1st. But nonetheless, I am going to take the Detroit Lions for number 1.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, too.
Yeah.
Lions, Packers, Bears, Vikings.
Yep. And I think is going to be really fucking interesting. Because I can see the Packers and Lions split wins.
Yeah, that was going to be the next question I was going to ask. So we got our division winners. Who would be the 2 wild card teams then from the NFC?
Oh, if we just had to wing it then, since we said that. So for sure the Packers for me. Ooh, not easy. Not easy. Because I have the Cowboys and I have the Rams, and I think I would probably say logically the Cowboys or the Rams over the Bucks, even though my fandom would want the Bucks. I'm going to say the Rams. I'm going to say the Rams and Packers. I'm going to say Dallas misses it narrowly, and I think they start to pay the price for their sins and finish 2nd and barely miss the playoffs.
So is there 3? No. Yeah, there's 2 wild card teams, right? Because then one... No. Would there be 3 wild card teams? Because the Bucks did make it last year. But so did the Packers and the Eagles did too, right?
Well, the Eagles lost to the Bucks, didn't they?
Yeah, so they made it a wild card spot.
Is there 3?
So maybe there is 3. And then because
7?
that would just make 1 bye because the first round gets a
Well,
bye.
there is 6 games wild card weekend in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there is.
So there might be 3 wild cards.
Oh, well, I mean, if that's the case, then Dallas may have one.
So you'd give Dallas the Bucks.
I would give Dallas the 3rd wild card, though.
the 3rd wild card.
Yeah. I think.
So who would be the wild cards then?
I think the Packers have the number 1 wild card. I think the Rams have number 2, and I think Dallas would have number 3. Honestly, and that's not even really even out of my own bias. I genuinely think that Dallas is more of a slow but happening to collapse if they don't do something to change their situation, especially financially. Which isn't entirely, it's not the player's fault. Like, Dak wants to get paid, but what the hell are you going to do? They trapped themselves. They should have signed him sooner.
No,
Now he wants all this money. Now everybody else got signed. Now he wants to be the highest paid for the biggest brand.
Not gonna happen.
It's not a good situation. They are fucking trapped.
He hasn't done something to prove anything to be the highest paid. That's
you don't pay A fucking plus money to a B quarterback.
Yeah, I mean he's
as good as he is.
He is an elite. He has the passing yards and the touchdown stats every year to put him up there with the elites. But it's he just can't get the same results.
When the big games, it hurts him a lot.
So it kind of comes out. I really feel like
I don't even dislike Dak.
I think CD, Micah Parsons, and Diggs are more important to keep than Dak. I think you could hunt for a young quarterback and try to get it to work. Yeah.
I think you might go too.
But yeah, I had the Cowboys winning that division. So my wild cards would be the Eagles, the Packers.
Eagles, which one's the number 1, 2, and 3 wild card?
Probably Eagles 1, Packers 2, and Rams 3.
Okay. Those are, I feel like we both put up compelling arguments for what we think will happen, though. Because they're also within the same teams. We just have a different winner, a couple of situations. So it's but we agreed on 3 of those 4 divisions, didn't we? Go completely.
Yeah, I think pretty much entirely.
Now, if something happens in one of these teams, i.e., the Rams, Cowboys, if somebody loses a player or two and it tweaks the team, I could see the Bucks slipping through.
Oh yeah.
But right now, if
Something
everybody,
would have to happen.
yeah, if everybody stays pretty mostly healthy, maybe some teams have guys missing. There's always a few games here and there. Oh, he tweaked his ankle, this or that, or whatever. But if everybody stays mostly healthy and upright, I think it'll go down this way. But you never know. But little things can definitely. I think just something is gonna have to happen for the Bucks to slip in there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's possible.
Yeah, I mean they have a chance. I think the NFC South, like the records are just not going to be strong enough to get more than the division winner in the playoffs.
I still think the Bucks would have a better chance than the Saints, Panthers, Bears, Vikings, Seahawks, Cardinals, and Commanders, Giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only other team that I was kind of debating, I'm like, could they slip in there? Would be the Bears, but that's a gamble because you don't really know how they're going to perform.
I think the Bucks would be like the sub replacement, and I think that they would be like right behind them.
Yeah. So the AFC, huh?
Well, the only one I have done right now is the AFC West.
Well, I'm just gonna wing them. So we can start with the West.
Okay.
Well, I hate to say that I feel like it's going to go pretty much the way we're thinking.
It's going to.
The Chiefs are finishing first. The Chargers, I'm going to say, are finishing second.
With Harbaugh and Herbert, you think they're going to...
Yeah.
So let's break down the Chargers for a minute. Do you think... do you think the coach and the quarterback play, like everything... Do you think they'll be more of a solid front this year than they've been?
Oh, yeah. I feel like Harbaugh definitely is going to change some stuff with the overall team performance.
In the culture. He's going to change the fucking fighting spirit.
I mean, the team seems like they're having a little more fun anyways. Like, I saw some of their preseason training stuff. Like, some of the practices, like, his kind of, like, off-kilter, a little different sorts of practices. Like, like hoses out there and different shit they were doing. Like, it looks like they were having a good time, though. Yeah. Like, it definitely seems like he's going to bring a new spirit to the team. Herbert is obvious. He's a great player. He just has not had, like... I don't know if it's been coaching or just, like... Herbert seems like he's one of those players, too, that's kind of lacked, like, having that receiver. On his team. Like,
because Mike Williams was really hit and miss. He put up 3 touchdowns a week and then not produce for weeks.
Yeah.
And record, like, a couple catches.
So, I mean, there's still that kind of looming in the air, but I feel like with sort of the changes they made in the offseason and just with having Herbert, I think they'll be good enough to finish 2. Whether that 2 is, like, good enough to get him a wild card spot, I don't know. I don't know how...
That's going to be hard.
I don't know how close behind the Chiefs they're going to finish or not.
Yeah.
But I would probably say Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders.
I would agree with that, 100%. And like we were talking about off air, Bo Nix, man, if he plays like how he's looked in different times in preseason and looks like a pro and looks how he looked in college, man, he could actually have a fucking decent season. We'll see.
Yeah, it's always exciting when you get rookie quarterbacks in the NFL because, like...
He looks good in that fucking Broncos colors.
Like, quarterbacks do add so much to a team and you see their performance immediately. Yeah. So, like, if you're excited about seeing the rookie out there, it's immediate. Mm-hmm. And, like, it changes the dynamic of the team, like, immediately. Mm-hmm. So, it could, I mean, like you said, he spent a long time
He's the most seasoned college quarterback of all time.
Yeah, he's, like, he sharpened his craft for a while, so. Yeah,
going into, his first NFL season.
He was Notre Dame, right? Wasn't that Bo Nix?
I think Bo Nix went to, I'm trying to think. I literally looked at it like the other day.
I thought he was a Notre Dame guy, but I don't know.
He didn't come, not from this last season. I don't know if he played for them.
Oh, he might not have.
They're
who was the guy on Notre Dame that fucking...
The long-haired guy?
He had like fucking 4 senior years.
Oh, Sam Hartman?
Yeah, what the fuck's that guy doing?
He's like 26 and nobody wanted to draft him as a backup or anything. No, Bo Nix played for Auburn in 2019 to 2021 and Oregon for 22, 23.
Yeah, it was Oregon. That's who I was.
Round 1, pick 12. But yeah, he played a fucking...
Well, the last...
Bo Nix is only 24, February 25th, 2000.
Well, the last big, Oregon Ducks quarterback draft pick was Marcus Mariota, and he busted.
Dude, Bo Nix looks like he could actually be, next to Caleb, he looks like he could potentially be the second best one in that draft class for sure. We
got a guy in our league. I don't really know him, but he's one of Alexis's friends, I guess. Ethan knows him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's all behind Bo Nix. His team's drafted him. He's Bo Nix,
rookie
of the year and shit.
From what I've seen, man, I kind of like him. He definitely could be a star.
Yeah, I don't really know what quarter. You know what? I might just take Drake May as my quarterback from this rookie class because nobody's talking about him.
I mean, he's not going to start.
North Carolina, he's already an underdog. He's coming from a North Carolina football team.
The Patriots, who are going to have an abysmal year.
Exactly, so he's probably going to get a chance to start. If we're being real, he'll be taking that team over by week 8.
It's going to be fucking bad. It's going to be piss poor.
And he'll probably produce some wins and have some hope, and then they'll have to draft some people around him.
They might win too.
They're winning at least 3.
They might win more than that, but we'll see. Okay, I think after that, if I feel most confident about calling one off the cuff here, let's do the AFC South next.
All right. You can give me yours.
Oh, give you mine first? Well, I definitely think after last year's production, I definitely think C.J. Stroud takes the Texans to another fucking for sure Texans first place win.
Yeah.
And honestly, if Richardson can stay healthy, I'm going to take the Colts number 2. I think the Colts could definitely have a surprisingly solid year if it happens. And I feel like the Colts go extremely overlooked. The Colts and the Cardinals, I feel like nobody ever fucking talks about either one of them.
They used to. Whenever they had Warner and Fitzgerald on the Cardinals and Manning on the Colts, they were really talked about teams.
I think kind of narrowly, I think the Jags may have a shot to at least compete with the Colts and maybe put away a few wins. It just depends on what Trevor Lawrence can do. But I definitely think the Jags finish 3rd and not below that. If anything, I could see them placing a spot above the Colts. But I definitely think the Titans come in 4.
Yeah.
Is that your same order?
It's tough for me. I definitely have the Texans at 1 and the Titans at 4.
Okay.
But the Jags and the Colts is tough because
it is really tough. It's
within
a win. It's within a win for sure.
We didn't really see exactly what Richardson could do last year.
He was good though in what he has done.
People have high hopes for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen what Lawrence can do, and I think he's a great quarterback. He's got some pieces around him still. Etienne's maybe not what he was a couple seasons ago.
Mm-hmm.
But, he has some receivers around him. I think I might take Jags 2nd, Colts 3rd.
Okay. And see, that's not something I would really, be hard on. Oh, fuck. I believe in my prediction, but I'm not going to die on that hill. You know what I mean?
That one I could easily see flip-flop.
I could do.
Either way.
I could do. I don't see 1 and 4 flip-flopping, though.
No.
With any
I think the Texans are definitely taking
100%. I think so, too. Let's go to the, unless you had any other thoughts about that one.
No, I was just going to say we'd go the East next. That'd probably be the easiest and save the hard North.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's go with the AFC East. Tell me what you are thinking. Let's go with, the Patriots finishing 4 to you.
Yeah, I was going to say depending on if people can, let's just say everyone can stay healthy.
Yeah.
If that is the case, I would probably say Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Patriots.
Damn. No, I could honestly see that in a way though too.
If Rodgers doesn't stay healthy, the Dolphins will take the division because the Dolphins are a solid fucking team.
They are,
but
they are.
I don't know. Just the excitement of Rodgers in that Jets offense, who was a damn good offense even without him.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy, I think the Jets can take it.
They could. I was gonna say the same. I think
Putting the Bills in third that's a bit of a
Ballsy.
ballsy move, but
I think the Jets win the division too, and I think the Patriots for sure come in last. I have struggled thinking about who I would place above who in the Dolphins.
And I mean,
Bills.
maybe that is a little bit because I do like the Dolphins a whole lot, but I think the Dolphins have way more key weapons around.
They do.
Like the Bills
Josh
lost
Allen,
so much in the offseason.
Josh Allen I think Josh Allen can adapt to environment and just kind of making receivers better than Tua can.
Yeah,
You know what
I mean, I think Josh
Tua
is
is
probably a little bit more of
terrible,
an
and I'm not counting down Tua, and it sounds like it right now. Dude, Tua is a terrible, statistically, quarterback when he goes to cold weather like that.
Well, yeah.
He's not good.
He played in fucking Hawaii, and he's on Miami.
But it's bad. It's really, really lopsided. It really is. That's the dangerous thing. And his health depends on a lot.
I mean, the thing is though, they played a close, contestable game against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
In one of the coldest fucking games of all time.
Yeah.
So
that was the third coldest game ever.
I mean, what can really be said? That is the test, and you're playing the most elite team in the NFL.
Well, I mean, that Chiefs team was fucking.
They won the fucking Super Bowl.
They were running on one leg.
But they won the Super Bowl.
That's my point.
That's what shows.
That's what's scary. Last year was the time to beat them, and nobody could. Nobody.
Because they're the most elite team in the NFL.
And they were not the Chiefs from the years before that.
Not saying that they're not beatable. Because even the most elite is beatable. But they are the most elite team in the NFL.
They're the most
Just like the Patriots
They're the
were
most
for a long
offensively
time.
sound, comfortable with themselves, ready to rock and roll team. Like there is. Period.
Yeah.
They're ready to go out there on a casual Sunday and be like, we're just gonna school you and beat you by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like it happens all the time. Even if you think, oh, this guy's hurt, this fucking, Mahomes doesn't have any receivers. He finds a fucking way.
Even when his receivers are dropping the ball all
Andy
game.
Reid, man, is one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
He really is. And
I mean, he definitely is sitting on a fucking gold mine because he has Mahomes as his quarterback.
For sure.
But
Kelsey doesn't have the longest time left in the game, I wouldn't say. But he played his best ball last year in the playoffs when he needed to.
Oh, yeah.
Same as Mahomes, just fucking turned it on.
Kelsey's getting older. He's more in the media spotlight now. I don't know if that's going to affect him at all this year, but I feel like when it matters and they're in the playoffs, he's going to be the same fucking player he always was.
Yeah.
That's just
and he's
how that team is.
Arguably, probably, and maybe the best tight end of all time next to Gronk. Those have to be the top 2.
Well, Tony Gonzalez would be the only other argument. It'd be like those 3 would be the top 3, I think. And all of it, Tony Gonzalez maybe would have the best argument for being like, I was the most true fucking tight end, I did the shit, because Gronk did have Brady, and Kelsey did have Mahomes. That's the thing.
Well, yeah, but you can't take that away from him.
No, you can't. But it almost like I was saying with Hopkins and kind of with Randy Moss too back in the day. Those were receivers that were fucking elite, no matter who their quarterback was.
Mm-hmm.
It does make a difference. There is something to be said for a guy or Larry Fitzgerald. He's spent his whole career with the Cardinals. No matter who the quarterback was, he still produced every year. Maybe that was because he was the only guy that could do shit on that team half the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that almost is the argument that people can always throw in Gronk and Kelsey's face. Is well, yeah, you had the most elite quarterback in the fucking league throwing to
But
you.
Mahomes wasn't always his quarterback either.
No, but he wasn't always that elite then either.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, it works. If it works, that's the thing. And not just that, Kelsey, doesn't he have the most passing yards of any receiver in the history of the postseason?
It was something like that.
It's an
last year.
insane stat, and he's a tight end.
Yeah, dude. The Chiefs have just because they've been tearing through the postseason.
Yeah,
in recent history.
Nobody beats them there. See, but no. And going back to this division though, I literally was struggling with it, and I could kind of say either way. My gut instinct, and I'm not saying it's by a lot. I think maybe the Bills edge out the Dolphins at 2 and the Dolphins at 3.
Fuck that. The Bills are done.
But I think it's like
their time is past.
I think honestly, I could even maybe see the Dolphins and Bills tying, and the Jets having 1 or 2 wins above them.
Yeah, that could be a tight division.
I could definitely see that. Now I think the Patriots have significantly less than all 3 of them. I think they all 6-0 the fucking Patriots.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, the Patriots got a tough go against all those teams.
So now, because we could definitely spend more time on that, but if we want to go to the AFC North,
that's another great division.
That's the best division in football.
It has been for years.
Has to be.
Like the tightest division.
Oh yeah, for like at least the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Man, what do you got?
Here's the thing: the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns all have a chance to be elite this year.
Mm-hmm. What the fuck is going on in Pittsburgh, man?
I don't know. They got Russ starting. They got Justin Fields backing up.
What the hell do you think happens there?
They're finishing last.
Well, yeah, but do they have a piss poor record? Can they not figure out who their starter is? Do they go with Russ for 6 games, go 1-5 or 2-4, and then they're like, oh, let's start Field? What do you think happens?
I honestly thought they might go like the Jets did that one year when the Jets had Mark Sanchez and Tim Tebow that year. They just switched the starter every week depending on who matched up against their opponent better. And I kind of thought that was interesting because I was like, they got 2 quarterbacks and they're just like playing who matches up better every week. It made them harder to prepare for. Yeah. And I kind of think that's what Pittsburgh should have done because they had Fields and Wilson and they're kind of different. You have the veteran.
I think they also wanted to say that, Russ is the guy, he's the guy coming in, he's the guy with the experience. And they also want their organization because the way Pittsburgh is run, they don't want it to look like a mess. So they had to confirm somebody was the starter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want to put off the perception. Even though we all see that there's no way they're going to be fucking... I'm not saying they will be better than the Browns. But there's no way they're going to be better than the fucking Bengals or the Ravens. There's no way.
I mean...
I just don't see it.
Tomlin is another pretty damn great head coach. He's proved that throughout history. He's never had a losing record.
Isn't it crazy that he's potentially on the hot seat, though, this year?
That is kind of... I don't think you blame him. Like, look at the team that you've put on the field the past 3 years.
But the coaches are the ones that get fired.
Yeah, I get that. But it's like, you had Kenny Pickett out there for 2 years. What the fuck did you think was going to happen?
And why are you running the fucking team with a more... it's my defensive strategy. It's an offensive league. You're a fucking dinosaur.
And who do they have on their offense? I didn't draft one fucking Steeler or see one that was appealing this year in fantasy.
Is Najee Harris still there?
Maybe. But, again, if Najee Harris is the shining light of your offense, dude, he's been, you could put him on the hot seat for the past 2 years. It's just, I don't know. The Steelers still with Tomlin, I don't know if they finish with a piss-poor record. Somehow, I could see them winning 6 or 7 or 8 games.
Yeah. I think... My instincts tell me they're going to finish with a 7-10 record.
Yeah. I could see something like that.
Yeah. And which would probably get him removed.
Yeah.
For sure.
I don't think he'd be gone from the league, though.
No.
He's had so much success.
It would kind of be interesting to see where he went to and what he could do with another team.
Yeah.
So going above that, because we get spend an hour on this division. Because this division's there's
It's
a
a
realm
division.
of possibilities of what could happen.
Yeah.
So who were you thinking for third? The Browns? Your Browns?
This is what's tough, man. I think Burrow's injury prone. I think the Bengals lost some key pieces. They still got Chase,
Uh-oh.
but they lost Higgins. They lost Mixon. Burrow's injury prone. I'm taking Browns second.
Oh my god.
Ravens, Browns, Bengals, Steelers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go the Browns third.
I figured.
Yeah.
That's a bold ass pick, but I feel like
Yeah.
I could see, especially depending on what happens with Burrow, I could just see the Bengals falling apart a little bit
But
as we go down the stretch.
wasn't Burrow the number one pick, the number one round? Like, people believe in Burrow, right? Like, people, like, he's
an elite fucking player.
But same as Aaron, though. And that is why their stories are so fucking interesting. Because going into the season, even though they're drastically different players, different stages of their career, the chance for an injury to season and potentially career alter them makes a lot of this appealing, and you want them to stay healthy because they are both stars, and Aaron has been in this league for almost 20 fucking years. And you want to see it work for the Jets. You want to see him, just because it'd be better for the league, it'd be better for the business, it'd be better for viewership for sure to have a healthy Burrow and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And that is why a lot rides on this. And I have honestly thought back and forth on this thing. Is because besides having Deshaun, who's a fairly good, decent
He
quarterback,
hasn't proven a lot with the Browns.
but
though.
they
He was
also
great
have
with the
more
Texans,
pieces than just a quarterback too. And at least, and to win a title, you at least have to have a solid quarterback.
You got Amari Cooper,
You know what I mean?
Jerry Jeudy, and Nick Chubb.
He's not elite, but you at least have to have somebody playing well.
I mean, he was getting to the point of an elite before everything fucking turned to fire on top
but
of his damn
he's
head.
not top. He's probably not top 5 or 10 right now, for sure.
No, not in the current state of things, but before all the controversy and the shit that happened his last year with the Texans, his final season with the Texans, he was a top 5 quarterback.
Yeah.
But since then, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
So
he missed a
yet to be
large
seen.
chunk of that first season with the
Browns. That
too.
was his fucking dumbass shit.
But they also signed him to a fat contract. That's the Browns' fault.
He's sitting up in the fucking stands eating popcorn and designer
I'm not even trying to
sunglasses.
take shots.
It's
It's
what
just
the
what
fuck
happened.
are you doing up there? At least Burrow, dude. Burrow was in a sling, fucking reading off the plays and shit.
He was.
He was down on the field with the backup. He was in the shit. Fucking Watson, he's got a sprained fucking thumb. He's up he's up in the goddamn stands eating popcorn and sunglasses. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh yeah.
Get on the goddamn field with your team.
I do think the Browns finished third, and I think the Bengals finished second, and I think the Ravens.
I definitely
think the Ravens win the division.
Yeah.
Now this is where it gets really interesting too, because now we got to pick
cards.
wild card teams for this. I am going to say that the Bengals get the wild card 1, is what I would say.
No.
And looking at this whole thing, man, it is not easy to predict. I'll tell you that. God damn. But looking at it and just trying to far glance, see how it is in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna probably we might be dead on some of these divisions and just terribly wrong. Not a game has been played yet.
No.
So.
And I'm going to make this bold prediction for this AFC East here. So I'm going to say Bengals with the number 1 wild card. I'm going to say the Bills and the Dolphins for the number 2 and 3.
All right.
That's how close I see that division.
Yeah, that happened in the division last year where 3 teams.
I think the thing is, I think that the Chargers could be good and viable. I think the Colts or Jags could be viable. I think they narrowly missed the playoffs at this early, everybody healthy stage, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I would say, because I had the Jets, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Texans winning the divisions.
Yep.
So I would say, man, it is tough. I'm going to say the Dolphins get the first wild card. Browns second, Jags third.
Dave, you don't think the Bengals get a wild card?
No, I had them finished in third in the division that year. I don't.
Oh yeah, that's damn. What the hell? So the Dolphins number 1 wild card. Who's second?
Browns, Jags.
Okay.
And I don't feel super confident in that. I almost want to take the Bengals.
Yeah.
But
I also just think right now, if C.J. Stroud and even Richardson and Trevor Lawrence stay healthy, I still think the Texans
they're winning that division.
They're going to assassinate most of those games. Out of those 6 games against their division, they might win 5 of them. I don't think they win all of them, but I think they might win 5 of them.
I see them winning
4 or 5 for
over
sure.
500. I'd say 4.
Yeah. And if they do take a loss, I think we probably both think the Jags and Colts might split one with them. It's tough, man. Ooh.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fucking mess, man.
I know.
It's gonna be some bloodbath game.
That's the thing too, is it almost sounds like a few of the teams I'm hating on. I actually do like the Bengals. I just don't.
Yeah.
With how things have gone in recent history, and the Bills, with them losing weapons and Burrow being injury prone, just there's so many factors playing into their seasons.
But Burrow is that talented.
He is. He's a great player. It's just I don't know how much they fixed up the line to really protect him further than they did last year.
Look how far he got whenever he had a terrible offensive line. Granted, that was at least 2 injuries ago.
Yeah.
But
we'll see.
We will see. You ready to take a break here?
Yeah, I'm about ready.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was our early as fuck NFL division predictions and who we think is going to get the wild card. I guess we got a good, the bad, and the shits round to go, and we will wrap this baby up. Get ready for this football season to kick off. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us. We will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back from our break. And it is now time for the good, the bad, and the shits on this special football edition episode. Going into this 24 season, illustrious fucking year. The making of careers. Careers could be ended this year.
Days away.
It's going to be fucking ready to go,
Careers could be made this year.
They could be. So anyways, what do we got tonight for the good, the bad, the shits?
Well, I was just thinking, because we kind of got into fantasy a little bit before we went on break. But, depending on if you're a 10 or 12 person league, drafting 5th or 6th in the draft. So, drafting dead in the middle of the pack. Do you feel like that's overrated, underrated, or fair?
Most people don't like drafting right in the middle.
No.
But
I would prefer to draft at the front or the back of the pack because your picks are close together.
Just basically middle pick, depending on if you have 8, 10, 12.
It just feels like you're far away from your pick every time when you're in the middle.
Yeah, it does. And I was just waiting, and I was just like, this is fucking ridiculous. It's so many people between every one of them. And instead of waiting one long time, and then you get 2 pretty solid guys back to back. Most people don't like it, I wouldn't say. So, in that sense, I probably have to say fair because people are not, I think it's judged accordingly. I don't think anybody really loves it. You know what I mean?
Nobody necessarily prefers to be in the mid-pack. Even if, theoretically, you're still going to end up getting a chance to grab a lot of good players, anybody else will. Because you're still, in the lineup getting the same amount of picks as everyone. It just feels more fucking come on. Because whenever you're 3 or 9 or something, you're it's pretty close between your picks. So you pick your one guy and then you you have your second guy ready and you just hope nobody grabs him.
Yeah.
When you're in the middle of the pack, you pick your guy and then you're you gotta wait almost, I would imagine, until it's a few picks before you again to really start looking, because if you look too early after your pick in the middle of the pack, your guy's gonna almost guaranteed get snagged before it comes back to you.
A random snake draft is the way to do it, though, because it makes it the most fair, and as long as the algorithm is reliable and can put everybody in actually like a random sequence, you don't know who's gonna be first and last, and you know what I mean, everywhere between. So, I mean, I kind of like that about it, but I definitely think that it's probably judged accordingly because most people do not favor drafting anywhere towards the middle. You know what I mean? For the most part, some people don't really say much about it, like they don't have real complaints, but at the same time, they probably acknowledge what everybody acknowledges. And then there's a lot of people that will end up with solid. Like honestly, for years, I've ended up with pretty solid running in my drafts. Like I usually get one of the later rounds or first or second often. I've had first pick a number of times.
I mean, that's the thing though. If you're first overall pick.
Mm-hmm. And I've had last.
There's like 19 to like 23 picks between when you're getting your like next one.
Yeah.
That's the problem with being the first overall, is you're like...
But at least once whenever it comes back to you, it's boom, boom.
It's boom, boom. Yeah.
You get to.
But like, once you take that first player, you're waiting forever till it comes.
Yeah.
Like so many big names are snagged off the board by the time it comes back to you.
Them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be first overall either.
Yeah.
Necessarily. I think that the most beneficial spot to be almost is 10. I mean, I know you have a lot of the first 9 players are off the board by the time it comes to you, but you have that boom boom of 2 elites.
Yeah. Minimum, if everybody was truly more valuable in the top 9, but you got 10 and 11, that's like theoretically going to be better than what anybody else can pick. You know what I mean? So it's hard to rely on a first round guy too sometimes, because whenever your first round guy fucking goes down or he doesn't have experience of production they predicted, it is a devastating blow. You
with Jonathan Taylor, bro.
Oh, that fucking pissed me off, man.
You drafted him round 1, pick 1, and he just had a abysmal year.
Ridiculous, yeah. That was fucking dumb. And I think I had him in like maybe 2 leagues.
You got screwed the year with Antonio Brown too, didn't you? When he was supposed to get he got traded to the Raiders in the offseason, and then he didn't play, and then he got traded again. Like he ended up not debuting that year till like week 8 or some shit.
Yeah, I picked him like second. Because at the time he was one of the top receivers. Yeah. And he was
projected to be.
He didn't have the entire situation that he ended up in.
And now he's like, his name bad. Is washed. Bro.
Yeah. Oh, it's bad. Never, ever come back.
No.
There's no way.
Like, there's no way he would even get to the point of getting the opportunity again, because he would fucking do some outlandish shit to squander it before he ever got close.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like, that, if he could get it to fucking together, then maybe...
just not do interviews and shit too.
Not be on social media.
Yeah.
Dogging everyone. Always. Then maybe he'd stand a chance. But, like, the dude's fucking lost it. I don't know what happened.
I don't either.
He literally went from being, like, elite to being
maybe
a fucking
smoking that fake
sideshow.
Maybe he was smoking that fake reefer in Pittsburgh. You know?
Yeah, who knows,
I don't know, it fried his fucking brain.
Well, he also had that vicious, fucking horrible hit from Victor Burfict in the playoffs when they played the Bengals. Mm-hmm. The dude picked him up over his shoulder when Antonio Brown was like sitting on a shoulder pad. Picked him up and threw him back, and Antonio Brown just landed like straight down right on his head.
Ooh, yeah, that might have done some damage too. Did he get a concussion from it?
Oh yeah.
Did he? Concussions can fuck you up.
He was man. Like they had to help him off the field, I think.
Yeah.
And people were like some people like point to that incident as being like that's when shit started to turn south, and I don't know if it would have been one thing, but like
yeah.
I feel like that didn't help. I don't know.
He did like a bunch of crazy things. He was kind of like the Kanye of the NFL, is what he kind of became.
He did become that.
You know what?
And they became like partners for a while. They like teamed up for some shit. I was like, these two being together for a project is insane.
He left the NFL and he's like, fuck this. I'm going back to college. And like, it's like you were just making tens of millions.
He went to arena football. He bought a team. He became a co-owner. Just so he could play again. That was the thing. Like he became a co-owner of a team and then started playing for that team. And then did something there to where they kicked him out of his co-ownership and kicked him off the team.
That actually happened?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he even got kicked out of that. Like, bro's done.
Or he has like, I mean, he's got to have some head trauma and he might have some real dangerous bipolar disorder or something too.
He's got something, dude. Because he had that incident too where he got arrested at his apartment or his condo because he was throwing his furniture off the balcony and he almost like hit some people and shit down below. Like,
throws his helmet and shit into like a game. Weren't him and the Bucks like losing in a game and they ended up coming back and winning, but he like left or something?
No, they were winning. He was just mad because he was like 2 catches away from getting his player bonus for the year. And he wasn't getting targeted at all that game. Oh. So he was just like, fuck this. And took his helmet off and took his his jersey and his shoulder pads off.
You don't do that to Tom Brady, man. It was like Brady was willing to have you on this. He basically picked everybody who wanted on the team. Yeah. Like if they were, and they became this like, I mean, Godwin.
They were like the Pirates.
Godwin and Evans were already there, but like they got in a way some talented but misfit toys from across the NFL with the identity that Evans and Godwin has already established and Bruce Arians being there. And like they just made this group that ended up being like just fucking defying the odds and just slashing these motherfuckers. Yeah. Cutting their way to the goddamn Super Bowl. They did, man. These fucking cool Pirates. That was dope. Like that really was cool what they were able to do.
Like looking back, I'm glad that happened.
I am too.
You know, that it was like an old fucking veteran Tom
pissed
Brady
off after like he
went to another team.
Dude, he needed to leave and he wanted to leave, but he's like, I can fucking still win without Bill.
And that it was kind of like the Bucks, not that they were horrible, but they were kind of like they were a forgotten about misfit team.
They needed an identity.
So that,
and they got one.
Looking back on that now, it's like that was a neat thing that happened.
That flag with the crossbones is cool, man. Like it gave a meaning to that, and I was like, this team, and like Evans, who's roughhoused some motherfuckers, but it's a tremendous receiver. Even still, Godwin, still a tremendous receiver. Have him at least one of my teams. Gronk came back.
He was like Antonio, beat to hell.
Fucking Fournette was there for a minute too. Like that was an insane group, man.
Yeah, Gronk was like beat to hell. Came out of retirement.
That was awesome.
Freaking Antonio Brown like had squandered every avenue and got another chance with this team. It was just so wild that all these people were on this one team.
Yeah. That was insane, dude.
It was kind of like...
That team was cool.
It almost felt like a cast of characters on a pirate ship in a movie. You know? It was like...
just different things. Like a lot of the black sheep, like assembled on one team. All right, you. Let's go fucking win some. Like talented people, but people that were like.
It was this highly
a question mark,
highly respected veteran quarterback who felt like he kind of got pushed out of his old team.
And he wanted to leave, but he did feel like he got pushed too.
He did leave, and he kind of had sore feelings.
Yeah.
And he just gathered together this band of pirates, and they fucking.
And they're like, let's fucking destroy this game.
Yeah.
And like they did. It was cool. I
did root for Brady and the Bucks more that year than I rooted for him most of the years he was on the Patriots.
No, that was awesome. I thought that Super Bowl and like their terror streak on the way to get there and to win those games, that was awesome. It's like a 3-year-old Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, he was our generation's like just fucking elite quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, that we got to really see for the majority of his time.
He had like insane records in his 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Yeah.
He was still up for the MVP voting in like the second to last year he was in the league.
And it's crazy too because you look at Tom, he was never like the biggest dude. He was like height-wise, like he never was the most put-together guy.
Never had necessarily the most beautiful throw, like the cleanest throw.
Not by any means. He never scrambled much outside the pocket, but he just like he always just found a way. He knew how to
do everything else. Like he had perfected all of the like little things and the things you can't teach and that you have to experience. He had seen like every situation, every scheme, he knew the game inside and out, and he used his intelligence on the field.
Yeah,
he won games.
He was like a football intellectual.
Yeah.
Like where he really, sure. It wasn't like he had that.
He didn't have to have the most talent.
Yeah, he didn't have that elite look that you would look at that guy and be like, he's the best player in the league. But like, he fucking knew how to do, like, the players that he wanted around him, the offense that he wanted to run, he executed it to perfection, always.
What kind of payday he wanted to take to allow enough money to go around the team.
Yeah, that's the thing.
He could have been the biggest and highest paid player in the league multiple times, and he fucking chose not to be.
He had the championship mentality over the payday.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted the accolade.
He was making a lot of money anyway.
Yeah.
Like,
and he knew, too, like, he's arguably, to me, it's hard to make the argument against him, even though I did despise the Patriots a lot of times. Like, it's hard to make the argument against him that he was the best player of all time in football. In the like this era of like the NFL.
Yeah.
It's hard to say there was somebody better. At the quarterback position, it's like there's people that were fucking elite greats.
Hey, remember that quote I always tell you, like what he said about Jordan and everything, and then he ended with 7 rings, one more than Jordan.
Want to be one of the best athletes of all time. That's what he cared about.
He did. Like, he was like, he's like, I didn't want to just even be the best in my sport.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be one of the greatest of all time.
And you do have to respect him for that, because like, yeah, he was willing to take the pay cuts, and he didn't care. And it's also like his name goes down in such history that he's making the fat paydays now that he's retired as a commentator and as a sponsor for all these things, and he's part owner of the Raiders now.
He's going into his first game, broadcasting this year.
It'll be kind of cool to see.
It will be. It's a new, he's got so much, I feel like, to offer the game and to people too. You know what I mean?
It was like Romo. I enjoy listening to Romo commentate for that reason too, because he was an ex-player and like he played in the league not that long ago, so he knows the game and he kind of predicts how things are going to go down.
I hear that he fucking literally gets it right like every fucking time.
And I feel like Brady is that guy. Like he's going to be able to sit up there, and he's an intellectual with football. Like he's going to be able to tell you probably what's going to happen. Those kind of commentators are cool to watch. Like I hear some people like down Romo for that, but I'm like, no, like it shows that he's knowledgeable of the fucking game. Like
and that's the thing, is like, even if you have some of these quarterbacks, and that's kind of the shitty thing, is like people are like, oh man, this guy's talented, but like unfortunately, sometimes it takes even a little more than just raw fucking talent to win these big ass games. It does.
Yeah.
You've got to have a cast around you. You've got to be able to fucking, you've got to have everybody playing to the best of their ability. You got to have your defense backing you. Like, it's not even just, who can make the longest fucking throw, make an 80-yard throw in a move of desperation, It's like, there's a lot of factors in terms of pure quarterback play. Like, Aaron Rodgers is one of the greatest of all time, but he doesn't have the postseason accolades that Brady has. You know what I mean? So in that light, it's not close. But as far as talent, throwing ability, fucking his his precision, he is one of the best and an argument for the best of all time.
Yeah.
But, I had wished that they had won more on the Packers whenever he was there.
That's that way with a lot of guys, though. Like, I always stand up for Marino for that aspect, too. Like, if you watch Marino, he was just he could bomb the fucking ball,
Mm-hmm.
and he was precise as fuck. Like, watching some of his highlights, it's like, this guy was, like, how the fuck do you do some of this stuff? Like, fun to watch. Like, elite fun to watch, but he never won a Super Bowl. So it's like, it is hard to say he's one of the best of all time, but in my mind, he's one of the best of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're looking at accolades-wise, it has to be Brady and Montana.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people would say it's them too, but people make arguments for Elway and Aikman and Favre and, a lot of other guys. They might not have the accolades the other guys have, but they were elite and, like, so fun to watch in their era, all of those guys. So Favre was, like, one of my first favorite players when I started watching football, just because he was that guy.
He's the one that started the whole, everybody making fun of somebody for retiring, like, multiple times and coming back.
Yeah.
I'm retired! No, I'm not!
Then all the wrestlers started doing that shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Favre was the original.
But I remember just so many people making fun of him at the time for doing it. Like, not making fun of all his shit, but, like, just whenever he kept saying he was, I'm done. And then, like, coming back.
He did. He was like, I'm retiring after the Packers, and then he came back and played for the Jets for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he retired again, and then he came back and played 2 more years with the Vikings.
Yeah, didn't he have, like, the Vikings was actually pretty fucking good?
They went to the playoffs, I think.
Did they?
With him, yeah.
That's not bad. Especially considering, like, you called it a day for a minute, and you're just like, I'm gonna sit on my couch. I mean, I'm sure he wasn't, but...
Dude, yeah, he was straight gray when he was playing for the Vikings. He had,
doing Wrangler
more,
fucking commercials.
More than a touch of gray, beard. Like, pretty fucking...
He was in those too, wasn't he?
Pretty white just for men, I think, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty white hair. And he was still getting it fucking done. And he was still getting hit hard out there.
Yeah. But that's like the era that he grew up in too,
That was Favre as a player. Like, he was known for his resilience.
He was like the blue collar fucking quarterback of a very workhorse town, small town.
I told you, he's by far, like, got the record for the most starts in a row. I'll have to look it up real quick, but it's...
Broken wrist. Fuck it!
No, he literally did play concussions, broken ribs, like, things that they wouldn't allow people to play with now.
Mm-hmm.
But, like... Record... or number... The NFL Iron Man. He played 299 consecutive games.
Holy shit! How many years is that? Many, because all those were 16.
Yeah. He only had a 302 game career.
Really?
And he played 299 consecutive. So that means, even the years he retired, he came back before the season started.
So he couldn't have missed, he only missed some, like, at the end then, didn't he? I feel like that has to be, unless he missed
it had to be near the end of his career.
It had to have been.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. Dude, that's more than 18 seasons of not missing a game.
This Wikipedia says Favre had 321 consecutive starts, including 297 regular season games, most in league history, from 1992 to 2010.
Oh my God, he didn't miss one game?
I guess for most of that era.
Yeah, holy shit.
Because 2010, around-ish, No, it was after when he finished his career. So yeah, I guess 92 to 2010, he didn't miss a game.
Damn.
That dude.
I did read a book
as
about him.
fucking nails.
Yeah, I did read a book about Favre too. I remember when I was in like middle school and shit. Because I would read them on like the Packers and like stuff, you know. But yeah, that's.
He's like, lost the pinky. Shit. Fuck it, tape it. I'm going in.
I answered fair on yours.
Yeah.
So in the interest of going here, I have. Let's see for you. Thinking about the correct way to phrase this. Oh, okay. Let's say basically this wasn't the word that I had. I was gonna say like the intolerance or basically the quick to jump on firing coaches. I mean, do you think it's overrated, underrated, fair? Do you think, oh fuck, like they had a losing season, they should be given? I don't feel like most people are only, unless it's like franchise that expects you to win now and you have a roster around you and your ass is in the hot seat year one. But if you're in a build, it doesn't matter if you have a few rebuild, like, a few maybe losing seasons, as long as you're making progress.
I feel like the coach is the scapegoat. I feel like it's overrated because
how quick
this is how I put it.
The frequency with firing coaches.
Yeah,
you think it's overrated?
The coach is always the one to just take the blame, but it's like sometimes your team doesn't perform.
And I'm talking about head coach, OC, and like all across the board.
Sometimes you just don't have the guys out there that result in a winning team. It's like
no, it's true.
It doesn't always come down to the coach's tactics being the problem.
But some of the NFL guys that truly are not at that level don't last in the league long either.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. But I mean, I feel like there's this. It's like with the Panthers right now. Like their owner is like itching to do fucking better. He's like already like, I'm ready to move on from this a lot of these guys. Like I'm ready to fire the coach, maybe move on from Bryce Young, all this shit. It's like you don't have the pieces around these guys to do anything. Like,
you know what's crazy? He's 22. We should be fucking winning Super Bowl by now. What the fuck you doing?
It's like you just started drinking last year. Why the fuck are you winning games?
No,
playing against the most elite players in the league. Yeah. When you don't have the line, you don't have
you're like
key
playing
players
against
around
15-year-old like vets and shit. QB.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Bryce Young,
they all want to win now, and it's like they can't. Not if they don't have all the pieces.
I feel like
why do you think Trevor Lawrence can't win more?
Yeah,
he's talented as fuck.
He's a great player.
Herbert.
Yeah, and
they are ultra talented individuals.
Like Lawrence he's had players around him that are pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And the Jags they've got to the playoffs a lot.
They've both shown moments of greatness for sure.
Yeah, and Herbert is obviously, pretty damn great player too. But same thing, the Chargers haven't got it done because he hasn't really had much around him.
Yeah.
So it's like
a lot depends on the situation you end up in. It really does. From the time you're drafted.
You can't expect a quarterback drafted from college like, oh, this guy was fucking awesome in Alabama. Let's bring him in. He's going to fucking turn this shit around. It's like, if you don't have the weapons around him, no, he's not.
Yeah, no, if he has nothing and you don't really change much on your league. We got my boy coming in, Joe Johnson, gonna turn this motherfucker around. Not if you don't hire anyone else.
It's like Joe Johnson is 21 and fucking just hoping.
They have nobody for him to sit behind. They're like, all right, we're gonna take your college experience, you're gonna bring it to the NFL, we're gonna win games.
So give him a pat on the fucking helmet and be like, all right, fucking
it's all
get
you.
This done.
That's lunatic shit. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And then guess what? Some of these guys that are regarded as talented drafted third in the first round. Whatever. Say they're extremely early. And they have no pieces, and then they fumble their first season. The perception of that guy is, well, he ain't as good as we thought it was. I guess fucking, it's like, what? No.
I guess we should move on.
Everybody's ready to just, honestly, some teams that don't have a QB answer and there's a lack of people in the market out there, start drafting quarterbacks every fucking year.
Yeah.
Develop somebody's going to hit eventually.
There's a lot of quarterbacks drafted nowadays.
There is.
A lot.
But it's a position that's only more valuable as the years have gone on.
Yeah.
And there's more great ones.
I mean,
at the same time than there's ever been.
Yeah. I think that's the thing though, is like it's always about the coach and the quarterback. And those two pieces are probably the most important pieces you have on your team in a lot of ways. But you have to surround them with weapons too. And like if you make it to the NFL level, you're obviously a weapon in your own right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's can you compete with the people at your level? And like we talked about a lot of quarterbacks not getting a chance, there is the flip side to that. Because there's a lot of quarterbacks who get drafted from college and fucking bust in the NFL. So it is always taking the gamble, but it's like sometimes quarterbacks just aren't given the fair shake either because they do expect them to come in and just fucking turn it around.
It has a lot to do with where you land, for
and
sure.
It's, if you end up on, the abysmal fucking Patriots right now or something where it's like, okay, you have, no fucking weapons?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can name
No.
really a player on their offense right now.
Nobody that I wanted.
So it's like, you can't expect that they're going to come in and immediately do what the fuck they did in college. For one, the way the NFL is played, much different than the way college is played. And you have to give them a cushion. If you're expecting them to start, you have to give them some veteran weapons or some people that know what they're doing out on that field to help them.
Mm-hmm.
Or you have to give them a passable quarterback for them to sit behind for at least half a season to a season. There's no way you're just bringing them in, shoving them into the fucking position. You looked good in training camp. We're hoping for 8 or 9 wins. No, that's not gonna happen most of the time. Some guys, will prove you wrong, but I also feel like the coaches don't get a fair shake a lot of times. It's like, all right, we just signed this guy. Our team went 1-15 last year, or 1-16 now. It's like, we just signed this dude. We're hoping he'll fucking get us back to about 500. And if he doesn't do it in the first year, they're like, fuck you, next.
They're ready to move on. Oh, man.
Like, coaches, there is arguably one of the most pressuresome, fucking stressful jobs.
You better save your money if you
can
that one
have
contract
in America right now. Is being a goddamn NFL head coach or an NFL offensive or defensive coordinator. Because they could just at any point turn their eyes to you and be like, you're the fucking problem. Yeah. Get out! It happens so often. I would say, it's overrated the amount of time.
Do you want to go with another good, the bad, the shits topic, or what are you going to do?
It's up to you.
I didn't really have another that I was prepared for necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
next, but I mean, we
I feel like we ran into a lot of football topics tonight. I mean, this was a football-driven episode. Sure. We're fucking running into week 1. We're 2 days away from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Exciting stuff.
It's gonna be it's gonna be a great. They have loaded the deck, man, with the motherfucking Ravens at Arrowhead, and then the Packers and the Eagles in Brazil, right?
Yep.
And then Sunday's games, ton of interesting storylines. The biggest line is the
I'm so looking forward to the Cowboys and Browns. What are like my teams
playing each other. Your first 2. The biggest line isn't it Bengals Titans? The biggest line is Bengals Titans. They're favored by 9.5 over the fucking Titans.
Yeah.
That's a huge line. That's the biggest line in the whole fucking weekend. The next biggest.
I mean, that's a big line.
The next
I wouldn't imagine much would pass that.
The next biggest, which I don't even remember, and they try to stack the deck kind of big and even for like some of the big games, too, for these.
Week 1, they try to stack anyways.
The next biggest line to that is like 6.5 games. So that is like how much the Bengals are favored over the Titans.
Yeah.
It's certainly set up in Caleb's situation on the Bears.
Who do the Bears have week 1?
Yeah, I was gonna. I don't know. It's easy, fucking game though.
Yeah, it's just
ridiculous. They're set up very much to where it looks like there's some fucking softballs.
Well, if they fucking get slaughtered week 1, then that's a bad sign.
Well, they wanted to start off, but it's just like, what the fuck are you thinking with giving Aaron the rough ass 49ers the first fucking game?
Well, that's the thing. They try to stack week 1. That's what I mean. They got Ravens, Chiefs.
Well, and they know a lot of people are going to show up to watch Aaron's, the loser of the Super Bowl, nonetheless an all-star cast in the Niners. Aaron's return after an Achilles and being a Jet, hopefully for the whole fucking year, the first full game.
It's kind of funny because it's what Favre did. Left the Packers as a veteran, grizzled quarterback and went to the Jets.
Yeah.
And now we'll hopefully see him on the field in a Jets uniform for more than one fucking drive.
Yeah. I'm pumped.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that game.
Yes, you are. But it is going to be like, and then Sunday night game is the Lions and Rams.
Yeah.
And that's a rematch from the playoffs. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, those 4 games right there, that's going to be insane.
Yeah, there's a lot of games to look forward to this weekend.
And the Eagles have a more stacked team. The Packers coming off the fucking insane playoff run that they had, damn near beating the Niners. It's just like, there is a lot that can happen with this season, and I fucking cannot wait. I've never been more pumped. Like, I am ready. I'm ready for all of it to start.
I'm excited.
So, well, I guess that's about it, and we will see these folks on episode 147. Plenty of football to be talked. Plenty of horror movies to be discussed upon on this podcast.
We are in the thick of it.
Oh, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being with us. We hope you tune in for this gigantic NFL weekend. Tell us what you think. Tell us who your team is so we can slash them and dice them and slice them.
I mean, you can.
No, I'm kidding.
You can slash and dice and slice our teams. I fucking heard it, man. I'm a Cowboys and a Browns fan. Like.
Oh yeah. And last year the Panthers didn't help either.
I mean, yeah. They're literally. I mean, the Browns did make the playoffs. The Cowboys did, and the Dolphins did.
They did. Well, yeah, and I don't think we're gonna follow that up.
None of them, went too far. No. They all fucking had pretty good years, though.
They did.
So.
We'll see. Anything can happen. I wish all the players the best, though, going into week, since we'll be about wrapped when we shoot our next one, regardless, anyway. I really wish for the best health for all the players. We want to see all the league and the fucking competition is always much better when all the stars are there. When the QBs are on the field, when the star players are on the roster, I want to see it all fucking go down. So hopefully everybody has a healthy start to the year, and we see a world fucking class year of football.
Mm-hmm.
So we will talk and see everybody in the meantime. Give us your thoughts. Tune in, and we will see you guys next time. Take care of yourselves this week.